Hi, I'm Batsa, and in this video I want to go over the e2700 plus Atom Push, Zodiac builds, the tree, the grind after all achievements are done, and share some thoughts about this patch, the game in general, and the official Discord server. Let's start with the Atom Push. I was in the middle of doing it when I released the previous video, I completed it the next day, and a few hours later I got all the remaining achievements. So what is the Atom Push, and why and when you should do it? Atom Push is done to unlock the corresponding milestone, which boosts luck after e1000 atoms, but it's not done only for that. As you can see at the Effects tab, the current atom amount boosts golden resources and black gem effect. So the only way to get the Devil achievement is to push atoms. You can see that I have a lot more card levels now than needed for the achievement. Before the push I was in the 230s. The push also increases the golden resources amount, so ideally you want to keep going until you hit your goal of golden resource upgrades. I stopped after I got some upgrades in the 7e29 range. If I had more time flux, I would go for the 1.05 e30 to get the next sacrifice dust level, but it wasn't enough to get the special minerals to level 89. I did get them to 88 during the push though, and got them to 89 a couple of days after that. The luck boost from the milestone wasn't as strong as I expected. My zodiacs were prime plus 309. After I got the milestone I could get 366 ones. I pushed further to e3200 atoms to get the 386s that I'm using now. So the last achievement is done by getting a godly singular zodiac. Rainbow normal zodiacs are still a long way to go. So do a Zodiac, Donuts and Sacrifice stats upgrade once you reach e2700, but keep going and do another one before you finish the push. The Atom Push is getting slower over time, because there's a penalty of a power of 0.5 at the e2k atoms mark to atom gain, and a power of 0.33 at the 3k mark. So after 3k atoms it starts being really slow. Before you singularize, like I said, it's best to do all you can in the Astrology tab, because you won't be able to do a meaningful upgrade there unless you do another Atom Push. So get the Zodiacs for all your builds, and spend some time upgrading Donuts and Sacrifice stats. Speaking of Zodiac builds, here they are. This is the Water/Luck build. It's better than an all Pisces build, but not by much. Earth build is all Taurus, but unlike all the other builds, it produces the highest amount when the lab is set to be 100% of 5, Gen Power Exponent, unlike 6, Common Exponent, for all the other builds. So if you're running a macro which circles through the elements, once in a while set it manually to 05 to get more Earth, and then go back to 06. The Wind build is all Gemini, and Fire build is 10 Leo, Sagittarius on Sun, and Aries on Pluto. There are also several builds that can increase your score. They don't do much except moving you up the leaderboards, so if you want to do that, here they are. Lab levels build is all Libra. Score build is all Sag with Leo and Saturn. The score increases the max score value, this one. You also have a build for the elation points and infinities. I have a link to this table in the description below. I mentioned in the previous video when to go for the Atom Push, here it is again. You need a decent amount of investment in the 4.1, 5.1 and 5.2 nodes. I had Ascension 15 for 4.1, 7 for 5.1 and 6 for 5.2. Some investment in 4.2 also helps with the golden resources. And you should have at least 67 singularities and 10k singularity multiplier. Of course, a lot of investment into 3.1, 3.2 and 6.2 helps the push go faster. There are a couple of tools where you can calculate how much time it will take, links down below. If you can get it under 48 hours, it's probably enough to go for it. Oh, and also it's good to grind the universe for a bit if you haven't done so yet, with the start and exit plague macro, to get the total infected number up to increase the black gem multiplier before the push. I got the last refined node achievement during the push. I was lucky to get a godly singular zodiac a few hours after the push to get achievement 670. And I had to get another ascension level in the second tree node to get the last one I needed, the relic 71. So now the endgame grind begins. I feel that this time, even though it took longer than the previous couple of patches to get all achievements, there's more stuff than ever to do to keep progressing to prepare for the next content patch. Let's go over it. So in the endgame, you split your time between upgrading the tree, increasing your singularity multiplier, farming singular zodiacs and getting more singularities. While at the Plague tab, you spend most of the time in 512 to increase your PLG, and making fast ERs to increase your virus essence amount, to be able to upgrade the ER nodes faster, and some time trying to get better ER than the one you currently use. Once you get such an ER, it's time to infect the universe once to increase your max infected and max infected in universe numbers, and go back to farming 512. Remember that atom amount buffs spread power at E200 atoms, and buffs it again at E600 atoms. So ideally you want to have these buffs up when you're trying to make better ERs, so grinding the singularity multiplier while trying to get better ERs is a bad idea. Keep your atoms above E600 when trying to upgrade ERs. I want to quickly go over the on-next singularity table at the main singularity page. The left column describes the thing that gives you a singularity multiplier, the middle column is its current effect, level, etc., and the right column is the multiplier it gives to the formula. All these numbers are getting multiplied, which gives you this total amount. Since the atoms always grow, this number always grows as well until the atom amount is reset. Then there is this formula, which determines the multiplier amount you're going to get. So leveling up 6-1 increases your multiplier amount per singularization. Let's go over the 3 nodes. Node 1 is a part of the next singularity multiplier formula, this one. It's good to invest in it early on, but it doesn't scale well. But if you want to spend some time farming the multiplier, it's good to upgrade this node before doing so. Node 2 increases gold gain. It's not as strong as 5-1 to get resources though. I spent some time recently upgrading it a bit, while the price doesn't go above E1000 atoms, but in general you shouldn't spend too much time on this one. Nodes 3-1 and 3-2 soften the E308 and E500 atom gain penalty. And these ones are always good to invest in for 2 reasons. One is they enable you to farm singular zodiacs faster. This is very important because divine and higher zodiacs have an additional effect, which is a huge boost, but the chance to get them is pretty low. And the second reason is they stack with the E1000 nerf, so investing in these will make atoms past E1000 go faster too. 4.1 increases RFP, and it's good to invest in it early on. As you can see, I have Ascension 15 in it. It helps to get the last refined nodes, but after that this node is not as important. 4.2 is pretty weak. The recommendation was to get Ascension 4 before the atom push, but since it's cheap and fast to level it early on, you can level it up a bit more before doing the atom push, to get a bit more levels and artifacts. I leveled this node a bit more recently. 5.1 is incredibly strong. It buffs all these stats, so 6 different ones, and you need to invest heavily in it. You need at least Ascension 7 and level 7 to get the Relic 70 achievement, but it's good to grind it after that too, to keep increasing your stats. 5.2 is a good node to invest in too. It increases the PLG reward you get from completing stages, which make your plague points increase faster. That's obviously useful for making ERs, but it's good for card levels too, because of refined node 106. 6.1 is needed to increase the multiplier you get when you singularize. 6.2 is important too. It softens the E1000 atom penalty, but it gets expensive pretty quick. 7.1 and 7.2 increase the singular zodiac level. Not something to invest early on, but it's needed for later. Same thing for 8. It boosts the efficiency of all the other nodes, but it's pretty weak and expensive. It's a node to be saved up for later. A note on singular zodiacs. At divine and higher rarity, the zodiacs get an additional effect. At rainbow rarity they get the third one, but it's not achievable this patch. You can see all the effects in this table. I got 1 divine zodiac so far, and as you can see, getting a second effect on his zodiac is a massive boost. The singularity luck depends on the astrology luck, so getting a divine zodiac has a much higher chance when using a luck water build. You can see that it goes from 0.18 to 0.21% on other builds, to 0.33% for the luck build. So it's a very good idea to set a macro to switch the luck build before singularizing and getting a zodiac. I have a condition in my macro to check if 1000 atoms are reached. When true, it goes to another macro, which switches to the luck build, performs singularize, and goes back to the first macro. Last thing I want to talk about is this patch and the game in general, and the game's Discord server. This patch takes longer to complete, by which I mean completing all achievements. You can always grind past that. Some people complain that the game is unplayable unless you play at a constant 10x or 30x game speed. I disagree. This patch took me a bit less than 3 weeks to complete, And if I wasn't playing wrong for the most of it, I could have done it in 2 weeks. I did have 7 days of time flux and 4 days of offline flux before the update, but my use of it was very suboptimal. I could have used it in a much better way if I knew what I was doing. And this is my tip. Yes, obviously speeding up the game helps, but before you use a large amount of time flux, make sure that it's being used efficiently, and not just waste it to brute force to get you to your next goal. I am okay with the new patch taking some time to complete. The time doing it is more fun than doing the grind past all achievements. Remember the patch before Elements and Tarot? The last achievement then, 320, took a month to get after you get the previous ones. We don't have it this patch. The only minor issue I have with this game is that you can whale to win, not just pay to win, whale to win. So people have already reached really far into this patch, like this guy. But he spent tens of thousands of dollars on the game. But it's a single player game, so people having more progress than you don't affect you much. Yes, you will never top the leaderboards, or will be able to flash some crazy progression numbers without spending big, but you can still enjoy the game. Okay, the last point is about the game's Discord, and the removal of the guide from the Singularity channel. I understand that people didn't like it, but this patch it's more difficult than ever to have a unified guide which will work for everyone. There are just too many parts which need to be considered. At first, the pinned messages in the Singularity channel didn't cover everything. That's why I didn't know how to use Plague properly. But now you have everything you need in the pinned message. You have an explanation of Singularity features, with links which explain the tree and show the singular zodiac effects which I have shown in this video. You have a link to useful macros, zodiac builds, a link to tools and calculators, a long post which tells you when and how you can do the last set of tarot challenges, a link to a spreadsheet which shows at what stage other people have completed the challenges and how long it took them, a guide on the atom push, a guide to Plague, and more. So you have all the info you need on Discord. I think that Peo is doing a great job, and I believe that a full guide is coming soon too. Of course, you can always ask questions in Discord if you have any. So that's all from me. I'm not sure if there's a point to making more videos about this patch, but I might make another video sometime in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.